The energetic contraction occupying the body-mind with the story known as Tom is very, very pleased, experienced pleasure that you swiped right on Tinder. Non-duality speak is ridiculous. Just talk. I'm not saying this to anyone specific, but I just find it interesting that there is this pull, there is this tendency to speak in a way, it almost feels like code to other people that you know what's going on. And it's so disruptive to normal conversations that in many ways, in all ways actually, that when I start speaking with others, there are no others, see? There it is. When I start speaking with others, and I notice that people are talking a certain way, I'm like, I just pause and I go, just talk. And immediately you can see this energy sort of, this weight sort of lift, and people go, okay, cool. We live in a world where we have to communicate in a certain way. We have to communicate in a dualistic way to order coffee. So this non-duality speak, I heard someone say on a video, yeah, I don't speak in non-duality because you just sound like an asshole. And it's kind of true. I mean, it's funny, but there's a place for it. There's a place for everything. There's a place for everything in oneness. But the let's call them hardcore non-duality folks that sort of have a magnifying glass on the way that people are speaking, they're allowed to, but it's its own kind of ridiculousness. That itself is just a thought. You need to be speaking this certain way, or I'm not going to make the claim that you're awake. That's just a thought, and if people have those thoughts, if you're not speaking a certain way for them, and they believe that you're not awake, you're not there, I don't even get where you would not be. That in itself is its own thought, its own series of thought, its own story, and that's allowed as well. Just speak, talk. If you talk to someone for long enough and they're just speaking in a regular way, you will quickly understand. There's this advaita, let's call it that, advaita radar. There are signals that will happen where there's an understanding by the way that people are speaking that they really know what's going on here, which is that we don't know anything. That's the best thing about knowing what's really going on here, is that you don't know anything. This is a complete mystery. And yet, in conversations with others, with other people, it doesn't take very long to understand and to notice people that are awake, that understand the teaching. And it's fascinating speaking with people either way. There's no reason to be a non-duality snob. Although a friend of mine that I speak with regularly, I have coffee and we talk about this. We were having a conversation a couple weeks ago mentioning that that whole joke, like, oh, you must be great at parties. Yeah, it's actually super true. We were saying, there's why wouldn't you want to talk about this? This is the most amazing thing, this mystery. And yet if we were at a party, I feel like maybe I've mentioned this on a video before, but whatever. If you're at a party and two people heard you, or people heard you talking, they would say, whoa, you guys have gone deep. And the truth is that we're not going deep. We would be talking about what is. In fact, when you're speaking of anything other than what is, that's all small talk. It's all small talk. What are you excited about? What do you have? What are you hopeful for? What's going on in your world? What do you do? all those things, they're fine. It's what most of social gatherings, conversations are made up of. But that is small talk. That is talk about nothing, which is in everything and nothing at the same time. But talking about what is the most real talk that you can get, or the most real talk that you can have. It's a discussion about what is and the beautiful mystery that we are experiencing and living and loving. And to me, that's the most fascinating thing in the world. And even in those conversations, there is still the need for non-duality speak to happen so that the conversation can continue. Ultimately, all aspects of non-duality should not include talking at all. There's no need. If you want, I think it would be hilarious to see two people have a conversation in non-duality speak. Some people might find it exhausting, but I think that it would be pretty fascinating to watch for a little bit, to look at it in its pure form. In the same way that watching, say, some non-duality, I guess you'd call them teachers or whatever, like Jim Newman offers no concessions in his talks. There's entertainment value in watching him speak to a room of people and confuse many of them, but just offer no concessions as to what it is that's happening. It's super fun to watch. It's very entertaining. Anyway, just talk. You don't need to speak non-duality speak. And any person that you're talking to, if they're looking at you sideways, wondering whether or not you're awake, well, that's their story. That's on them. So the energetic contraction that exists in this body-mind with the story of Null wishes you a very good day.